Normatec recovery systems give you a high-tech compression massage for warm-up pre-workout and recovery post-workout.
The technology is very safe and is used by a broad range of athletic types and really any fitness enthusiast looking to get the most out of their workout.
The whole idea is that we're using air compression to help increase circulation in the body. We wanted to mimic physiology, the way the body moves fluids. We went ahead and took a lot of those principles and put it into a system that you can use on your different extremities and your hips as well.
Normatec has been an industry leader in pneumatic compression, providing improved mobility and profound healing for thousands of patients. We continually work with researchers to study and develop the effectiveness of our technology.
It's all about creating that community space where people have a conversation around recovery and start really challenging their beliefs in what is possible and what they've known and maybe what could be.
Of course, there aren't any spots. A few minutes won't hurt anybody. Thanks, Grandma.
Paralyzed Veterans of America works tirelessly every day to create a more accessible America. Let's leave the accessible spaces to the people who actually need them. Whatever the reason, excuses don't excuse. Join PVA and be part of the solution. Honor the spot.
Welcome to the 2021-2022 edition of the Echelon Racing League. We're going to kick off this year with something a little bit different, the Community Combine, taking something from the NFL and the NCAA here in the United States. We're giving a chance for our amateur community racers to show off their skills and their talents so that they can be recruited for the professional teams. Today we're going to be taking on two different courses. One will be a hill climb on the Take That Hill course. It's going to be 2 laps totaling 13.2 kilometers with 482 meters of elevation gain. And then race 2 is going to be a criterium on Canary Wharf. The Take That Hill course is going up Barrett Mountain in North Carolina. This course is used for a charity ride called Take That Hill, honoring veterans and going to Purple Heart Homes, who build tiny homes for homeless veterans here in the United States. It's a challenging course. The climb should take anywhere from 11 to 20-ish minutes, depending. It's going to be a tough one. 2 laps up it is interesting. In the real life charity event, they do approximately 16 laps up it, trying to total 10,000 feet of elevation gain over the event. Canary Wharf, everyone knows this course. This is on RGT's Railroad Canary Wharf course. 41 kilometer course with 200 meters of elevation gain. Lots of turning in this one, and it is going to be a tough one. There's lots of jumping, very similar to real life crit racing, where you're going to be jumping out of the turns, and it's a stop and go type course. Coming out here on the GPS. 4 corners, relatively flat downtown crit. Super fun, but again, it is a criterium, so there's going to be a lot of jumping, a lot of tactics involved, and it's going to be quite an adventure. For the hill climb, we've got 40 men and 9 women registered, and for the criteriums going on after, we got 46 men towing the start line with 13 women. The Echelon Racing League this year, for the Pro League winners, they'll be getting NFT jerseys, if you see them up there on your screen right now. This is a new thing Echelon Racing League is partnering with RGT to come out with as prizes for the leaders of the series. This is the Community Combine. coming to you today, 13 November. The Community Series dates are as follows. We're going to be doing the Indy Crit, Tour of America's Dairyland, Gateway Cup, the Iron Horse Bicycle Classic, Tour of the Gila, Tulsa Tough, Intelligentsia Cup, and Joe Martin Stage Race. Quite a few new events on the calendar here for Season 2 of Echelon Racing League. Great to have these new events in here. Some of these all of these are just well-known, world-famous events. Tulsa Tough, Crybaby Hill, Intelligentsia Cup, one of an 11-day race series out of Chicago, Illinois. Iron Horse Bicycle Classic. This one's going to be on a brand new railroad that just debuted a couple weeks ago on RGT. Make sure to get on there and check that out. Membership is free on RGT. They do have a premium membership as well, which gives you all the available railroads. The free membership, you get a selection of them that rotates. It's going to be a great series, kicking off today and then going through the end of January. We do want to say top 20 in our community series each weekend. It kicks off the weekend prior to the professional series. Top 20 in each event. They do qualify to race the professional events. This gives people who don't get picked up in the combine and aren't on a pro team a chance to showcase their talents in the professional series against these elite riders. Again, they're going to be doing the same races as Community Week or the Community League. They'll be doing them the week after the community races, and then the professional series will finish off 12 February with a league championship race on a course that we're going to hold closely until we get closer to it. It's going to be a good one. Really looking forward to this year's series. Lots of new teams, lots of new faces, and a lot of familiar faces coming back and racing as well. Here we are on the hill climb start line. The men and women will be starting together for the hill climb. It is time trial rules, so there is no drafting allowed, and it's going to be a good one. Here we go. Everyone's off. Cooper in the front there. Cooper is the partner of Jackie Godby, our dominant woman in last year's series, racing for Triple X Athletico. Seibel racing on Gutenplan Seasucker. He's been around and making familiar faces, or a familiar face in the series as well. Really putting it down here from the gun. The whole purpose of this community combine is to be able to take the data from each rider. So again, similar to the NFL, we're going to be able to get heart rates, instantaneous power, 5-second power, 30-second power, 1 minute, 5 minute, 20 minute, so that teams can look and see where their rosters are short and see if there's an available rider who has a similar power to them or to that need. So if they need a sprinter, they're going to be watching the crit closely to see who has that kick. If they need a climber for the virtual Tour of the Gila or Joe Martin Stage Race, they're going to be looking for someone who's really excelling at this event here. Like I said, lots of familiar names in this event. We got Oliver Dowd in there, sitting 6th right now for Restart Racing. He's one of our pro riders who's in here just scouting out talent as well. Justin Rice sitting in 9th for Project Echelon Racing, one of the veterans on that team. Mike Swartz in there in 10th. Mike Swart, one of the owner of Restart Racing and host of the Nowhere Fast podcast. Go check that out if you have not yet. It's pretty phenomenal. They have a lot of great insight on virtual racing and riding. Really kicking it here with these numbers. Right around 5 watts per kilogram at the front here. Oliver Dowd going 6 watts per kilo there on the front. Really great international field we have here. Wouter Klaus, and I've probably pronounced that wrong, I apologize, from Belgium. 35, 81 kilograms, not probably one of your better crit racers. 81 kilos is quite a bit for a climber. some of these tiny guys can really zoom up these hills, mountains pretty fast. Really putting the effort in though here. 5 watts per kilogram, pushing pretty hard. Just a steady 400 watts up this. That's quite an effort there. Let's see if he can hold it to the top though. This climb is deceiving, and it can you think it's almost done, and then it kicks right there at the end. It does get steeper as they get closer to the top as well. Swart conserving on the flats there at 3.5 watts per kilogram. He'll probably kick it up as the gradient goes up. We're at Persk here, sitting at the 5% section, kicking it up. Again, about 360, 390 watts. Really putting the effort in there. Low cadence, 66 RPM, 7% climb. Really grinding it out there. We're about 350 into this. He's about halfway, but it does, again, kick up towards the top, so it's a little longer. The second half takes longer than the first half there. These 4 have really made a selection here at the front. Again, there is no drafting. This is time trial rules, as it is a hill climb. Persk 20 meters in front of Rockwell there, just slowly riding away. Rockwell and Deld riding side by side. Hauser sitting back there, closing the gap a little bit to second and third. Seibel grinding it out there in 5th. Here we have some of our riders in their pain caves. It's really interesting to see, one, where everyone rides, and then also just the different ride styles everyone has. Some of them out of the saddle, some grinding it, seated there. Wouter Klaus there riding in the void of nothingness. Persk is really ripping it here. 5.5 watts per kilogram, 400 watts, 54 cadence, just grinding it out up this 9% section here. These front guys will probably finish at about a 10-minute mark. The real-life KOM of this climb is held by Stephen Vogel from Project Echelon Racing. I want to say he did it in 9 minutes. It'll be really interesting to see how these riders take it on the second lap compared to the first. We did 2 laps, so everyone could get 2 chances going up the mountain here. Essentially 2 10-minute efforts, 15-minute efforts, depending on the rider. The Brazilian, Daniel here, sitting in 10th now, right around 300 watts, 5 watts per kilogram. So the KOM for this climb in real life is held by Stephen Vogel, as I said. He did it in 8:21, averaging 499 watts. Stephen Vogel, winner of the Armed Forces Cycling Classic in real life, and I do believe he won the Queen stage of Joe Martin's stage race, virtual. Gabriella Schumann here, 4.4 watts per kilogram. There's her webcam as she climbs. 4.5 watts per kilogram, doing a great job here. The QOM, held by Mallory McRosty. She races for Project Echelon Racing on RGT and Echelon Racing League. Races for Insured over on other platforms. She raced for Project Echelon in real life. Marb here, sitting in 14th. Again, 4.4 watts per kilogram. Really doing a great job here. All these riders. Cadence sitting at 70, 80 RPM, so it's, you know, more of a spinner than a grinder. I'm the same way. Doing a great job up this climb. Truffle here, again, 4 watts per kilogram. Vigneault from France. All these riders doing a phenomenal job up this climb. This is a tough one as they get here towards the top. A couple riders already crested and descending down, getting ready to start their second lap. Persk on the descent. These riders don't really have to drive super hard on the descent unless they want to. You know, a lot of what this event's purpose is to look at how riders climb and what their 10-minute power is up a climb. Putting out power going up a 9% grade is a significantly different feeling than doing it on a flat ground. That is not stopping Persk here from ripping it at 400 watts. Second place Hauser trying to chase him down. The idea of the community combine came about when, in talking with the professional teams coming out of season 1, professional teams are required to have a minimum roster of 6, or excuse me, a minimum roster of 4 for the professional races in Echelon Racing League. And as the season goes on with holidays and real life events going, and some teams are having trouble doing that. So this is a good way, we thought, to showcase talent of the community, this phenomenal community we have within RGT. These riders who continuously race all the races and really participate, know the physics of the platform, get them a chance to join one of those pro teams and really shine in that professional series. First starting the climb again for the second time now. Hauser right behind him. And then Dowd and Seibel right behind them. This is the Belgian skin for RGT's Magic Roads. If you don't know RGT, first time seeing it, or you've heard of it and just aren't familiar with it, it takes real life GPS files and makes virtual courses of them. So this is a real road, or excuse me, a real life road, Barrett Mountain in North Carolina. It is a real climb. You can go out and ride in real life, and if the weather's bad or it's cold or you just don't feel like going out, you can jump on the trainer and ride it on RGT. RGT has two types of courses you can ride. They've got real roads and magic roads. Real roads are tree for tree, sign for sign, building for building replicas of a real life road, and we'll see that in Canary Wharf in the crit here in about 45 minutes. And they have magic roads, which is they put a skin on top of the GPS file to give it a different feel. And they've got a handful of those. Daniela really doing a great job here. She's definitely the first woman out of this whole group. Hammond, the Brit, doing a great job, starting his second lap. Sitting in 10th overall now. Schumann, followed by Swart here, filling out the 11 and 12 spots. Justin Rice sitting in 13th in that Project Echelon kit. All of the teams that are part of our professional series get their custom kit in the game. This is the Project Echelon kit. Vigneux from France. Getting ready to start his second lap. There's the banner, or just up the road there. What we're going to do after these events are over is we're going to pull the data from this race and the Canary Wharf crit, work with RGTDB, a results platform. The results platform we work with, I apologize, problem with my mic there. And we're going to have all the data there available to the team directors for our professional team so that they can scout these riders and pick up some needed talent. A lot of our community riders last year were steadily cracking the top 10 in the professional races. Cooper won one of the crits that I do believe it was the opening crit for the series last year, beating myself by a hair. Mike Lister, another great RGT community member, cracking the top 5 a handful of times in some of the professional series races. So it's a great opportunity to get those racers onto one of these teams so that they don't have to go and do the community race to qualify for the professional races. Although we do encourage our professional teams to do the community races as well. It's great recon, and it adds to the tactics and the skill needed to do well in all the racing. It lifts everybody up. Persk on the climb now, still sitting in that #1 spot. Hauser just behind him. He's in the steep section now, 8.9%. Hauser 9.6%. It does kick up in a couple sections here. Dowd and Cooper sitting 3rd and 4th. Doing a phenomenal job here. Steady 400 watts for Cooper as he rolls up this at a 71 RPM. You can see Cooper in the top right there of our Pain Cave webcams, really grinding it out there as he makes his way up the climb here. All these riders really feeling it. Cooper riding in the XXX Athletico kit. Dowd there in the Restart Racing kit. You'll see both of those in the pro races this year. Cooper out of the saddle now. Seibel sitting in 5th. Steady 4.8 watts per kilogram in that Support Clean Sport Guten Plan coaching kit. It's a Criterium team out of Florida. Got Rockwell here sitting in 6th. Spinning up that mountain, 95 RPM. This being a time trial format, we've gone back and forth on how to do virtual time trials. There's no worry about drafting. We can just turn it off. You can't do that in real life. Some people like to do the race of truth by themselves, 30-second starts and whatnot. And some prefer the mass start time trial format for virtual racing. Gives a carrot for you to chase down. If you need that motivation. Klaus here sitting in 8th. He's riding in that Above and Beyond Cancer kit. They had a phenomenal showing in the professional series last year. Matt Usborne out of Canada. His team there doing a great job. They also crushed the U.S. domestic crit scene this year, really making a showing and lighting up the events. Persk cresting the top for his 2nd lap. He's going to have it all downhill to the finish now. Doing a great job up this climb. He'll be close to that real life KOM, I believe. I think he was right around 9 watts, or excuse me, 9 minutes. Wearing that rally kit. Rally making on their men's side, making a phenomenal showing in Europe this year with Ben King and company. On the women's side, again, doing a great job in Europe. We had some phenomenal riders on the women's side racing in the Echelon Racing League last year. hoping to see them back out here this year in the professional series. Krista Doble-Hickok is one who really made her mark in the European fall or spring classics, and then as well as the Echelon Racing League last year, sitting consistently top 3 on that podium. A little message on Facebook there from John Beams. Guess Wooter was out there training in the Alps, taking his training for Echelon Racing League serious. Couldn't. That's the only reason he'd be riding in the Alps, right? Not the amazing views and great roads to ride out there. Wooter just finished the Tour de Alps on RGT as well. ZMS Livestream, our producer for the day and for all of Echelon Racing League, showcased that event as well. You can check out the RGT users Facebook group for all the live streamed races and get caught up on those. The rider's really giving it here. Wooter out of the saddle, just really beating up that bike, trying to get to the finish. There he is. Look at him. Cooked. Great job to him. Cooper trying to finish up there. Persk is still just crushing it right now. 300-meter gap to Hauser. 450 watts. Way in the red. If you see the numbers there on the watts per kilogram is what the rider is doing based off of training zones, if they set their FTP correctly in the RGT settings. Red means they're in their VO2 zone. That's zone 5, zone 6. That's not a sustainable effort, if you will. Most riders can only sit in the red there 5 minutes at most. Perks showing us how it's done, finishing well in front of second place there. Great effort from him. Phenomenal effort by all these riders. Dowd going to come in for third here. Cooper just behind him. We're going to see Oliver Dowd really make his mark in the professional series this year. Had some great racing, couple podiums last year. Cooper doing a phenomenal job as well. Everyone really starting to roll in. Rockwell coming in, Seibel just behind trying to catch him, but not quite get in there. Baruch coming in for 7th here. Wooter in that above and beyond classic kit going to come in for 8th with Mike Soar about a half kilometer behind him. All our riders starting to finish up. Great job to all of them. They're going to have about half an hour to rest up, get some nutrition, fuel in their bodies to get ready for this criterium. All the riders there, about half of them taking a breather on the webcams there. Hammond going to roll in to round out the top 10 here. Again, there was no real ranking on the overall. Again, the purpose of the combine was to gauge, to get some data for the teams to look at. They're really going to be looking at the 5, 10, and 20-minute powers based out of this effort. Justin Rice, one of the Project Echelon veterans, going to be coming in for 13th here soon. A little less than a kilometer to the finish. So Tor coming across the line first there. He was first over the top both times. Hauser second both times. Really phenomenal watt per kilogram numbers there. 4.9 for 25, 5.4 for 25. Those are elite numbers. Oliver Dowd 4.9. One of the things we do here in Echelon Racing League for the professional series and our combine riders, as they get selected for teams, they will be required to do the same. Is we do have a verification system. We use ebiopassport.com. Riders are required to submit weigh-in videos as well as serial numbers and calibration videos for their power sources. Wheel and trainers are not allowed for the professional series. They have to use a direct drive smart trainer or a crank-based power source, pedal-based power source. We do try to show do want the racing to be honest and truthful. Our podium winners in the professional series are required to submit power files, real-life power files as well, to verify their numbers. We like to think no one cheats on purpose, but you know, there's always malfunctions and technical difficulties with equipment. Professional series riders are also required to submit heart rate data, wear a heart rate monitor. The Frenchman Vigneault gonna finish 14th here. Come in with a really great effort to finish out his effort 2 times up Barrett Mountain. Druffel here, the American, wearing the Take That Hill jersey from the real life event. We did a virtual version of the event. Again, it is 16 laps to equal out 10,000 feet of climbing. Took place about a month ago. All proceeds went to Purple Heart Homes, where they built tiny homes for homeless veterans here in the United States. We'll see Brad Borders, the head of that effort, Purple Heart Homes, in our criterium. Really great cause there. Looking at these numbers, these riders have really done a phenomenal job. You really see how the power to weight is taken into account with the gradients here. Gabriella sitting there in 11th, the first woman to finish, 4.78 watts per kilogram, 28.42. That's phenomenal. It's a really, really great effort. All these riders really, really giving it their all. Hopefully they're all spinning their legs out now, getting some fuel, drinking some water, getting ready for the second event, which is going to be about a 45-minute criterium. And you see Wooter there, spinning the legs out, checking his messages. Seibel sitting there trying to regain his composure. Cooper wasn't even in the screen. He probably ran over to the kitchen to get some food. For more info on the Echelon Racing League, check out echelonracingleague.com. It's going to have all of your calendars, all of your schedules, links to register for the community races, info on all the teams that are going to be racing in the professional series. Make sure you follow ZMS live stream and Echelon Racing League on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and Twitter. ZMS, again, showcasing a lot of great series that take place on RGT. Some of the series really creative courses, really challenging courses as well. A lot of great race directors on that platform. Looks like we got 4 more riders to finish up, 5 more riders to finish up once they're finished. Again, they're all going to take their break and spin out their legs, get ready for round 2. What's really great about the physics on RGT is criterium racing or racing in a pack, any mass start race on there, you know, there is a lot of tactics involved. It's not just a mass start power test. You know, there is drafting. We'll go into that in detail as the race starts. We'll show you how riders can tell how much of a draft they're getting and what draft they're getting. There's also collision detection and slowing down for the turns. So, you know, they have to take that into account. We'll go into detail on that as the criterium starts to show you how the riders can analyze all of that data while they're racing with their hearts beating out their chests. Federcell here, doing a great effort. Federcell, Schwarz, and Furman, all about a kilometer or less to go. Schwarz in that Wolfpack kit, another great criterium team based out of Texas here in the United States. And Shores and Jamie Furman here finishing up. Furman really pedaling it out there. Furman putting in a big dig to finish up strong. Great job by all the riders. They're going to take a break. And about 20 minutes, we'll get started with the round 2 of the Echelon Racing League Community Combine, the Canary Wharf Criterium. This all wouldn't be possible without our sponsors. USA Cycling, Paralyzed Veterans of America, Argon 18, Hyper Ice, and Saris. Great partnerships with RGT, Paralyzed Veterans of America, USA Cycling, ZMS Livestream. Everyone doing a great job. Make sure you follow all of their social medias. And stay tuned for Canary Wharf Criterium. 41.4 kilometers, 200 meters of elevation. Should take about 45 minutes for the race winners in each of those fields. They will be separate races, racing simultaneously, a women's race and a men's race. Stay tuned. We'll be back in about 15 minutes to get ready for the Canary Wharf Criterium. Thanks.
Normatec recovery systems give you a high-tech compression massage for warm-up pre-workout and recovery post-workout.
The technology is very safe and is used by a broad range of athletic types and really any fitness enthusiast looking to get the most out of their workout.
The whole idea is that we're using air compression to help increase circulation in the body. We wanted to mimic physiology, the way the body moves fluids. We went ahead and took a lot of those principles and put it into a system that you can use on your different extremities and your hips as well.
Normatec has been an industry leader in pneumatic compression, providing improved mobility and profound healing for thousands of patients. We continually work with researchers to study and develop the effectiveness of our technology.
It's all about creating that community space where people have a conversation around recovery and start really challenging their beliefs in what is possible and what they've known and maybe what could be.
Come on, move. Of course, there aren't any spots. A few minutes won't hurt anybody. Thanks, Grandma.
Paralyzed Veterans of America works tirelessly every day to create a more accessible America. Let's leave the accessible spaces to the people who actually need them. Whatever the reason, excuses don't excuse. Join PVA and be part of the solution. Honor the spot.
Welcome back to Echelon Racing League's Community Combine. We have just finished the Take That Hill climb, 2 laps, 13.2 kilometers, 482 meters of climbing, and we're getting ready for the Canary Wharf Criterium. Men's and women's races. Both will be doing 41.4 kilometers with about 200 meters of climbing. These races are a opportunity for the racers to showcase their talents to the professional teams to try to get picked up for the Echelon Racing League Professional Series kicking off in December. Canary Wharf Crit, 4-corner Criterium downtown racing. RGT physics allow this race to race very, very similar to a real-life crit. Tactics are involved. Coasting through turns and jumping out of them is required. And it'll be a really great effort to see who's going to win these races. 41 riders in the men's race, 13 in the women's race. Winners of the Echelon Racing League Professional Series Season 2 are going to get a NFT of the leader's jersey, as shown on the screen here. These NFTs are produced in partnership with RGT. Really looking forward to showcasing these. The Community Series kicks off today with the Community Combine, not technically part of the series, but it's the first community races of Season 2. We're going to go with Indy Crit, Toad, Gateway Cup, Iron Horse, Tour of the Gila, Tulsa Tough, Intelligentsia, and Joe Martin Stage Race for the series. The community races are always the weekend prior to the professional races, and the top 20 in each of the men's and women's Cat A races qualify for an invite into the professional races the weekend after. Here are the professional series dates, with the professional series kicking off with Indy Crit on December 4th. The professional series will also have a league championship starting on February 12th. That league championship will be on a course that we are not yet announcing, but it's going to be a great one. All of these courses, if you look, there's a couple new races on here that were not on here for Season 1. We're excited to have those new races, as well as our returning races. Going to make for dynamic racing across the board. Tour of the Gila and Joe Martin Stage Race are traditional stage races, and we will do those as traditional stage races for the professional series this year, just like we did last year. That is, they are time-based. Winner with the least, finishing all the stages in the least amount of time, wins. Again, the Canary Wharf Crit, 4 corner, 2 long stretches, a little S-turn bob and weave thing out of turn 3, or excuse me, out of turn 2. A little incline there before going into turn 3, and then turn 4 into the finish. It's a short stretch to the finish line coming out of the last turn. Total distance will be 41.4 kilometers. Got about a minute before racing starts. All our riders are on the start line. Racers will be doing 40 laps to make up that 41.4 kilometers. Men's field is on the left side, women's field on the right. A lot of familiar names in these fields: Brad Borders, Justin Rice, Chris Navin. And we are off to the races. Again, men are on the left, women are on the right. We'll zoom into each field as they get going. Corinne in first place in the women's race with a big dig off the front, getting it going. Looks like the field's pretty much together. Shalou going. Do believe that's Brian Hodges from the Wahoo Lacole team. It could be. Yep, Brian Hodges. Looks like we got a decent group up here in the front, grouping up as they get up to speed in both the men's and women's fields. Coomer going off the front in the women's field with a big attack, 5 watts per kilogram. This being a flat four-corner crit is really going to take some teamwork and hesitation from the field to really let an attack go off the front, similar to a real-life four-corner flat criterium. Big front group in that men's race. Hendricks on the front driving. Wooter going up over the top. Berube up now. Bowen, one of the familiar names from last year's races. Naven as well. Here's our pain cave look into the various riders with their webcams. It's always interesting to see the camera setups as well as the pedaling styles of the riders. So let's talk physics. RGT is very similar to real life racing. If you look at their speeds, they're doing about 40 kilometers, 42 kilometers per hour, it's about 25, 26 miles per hour. On the straightaways, they'll get it up to about 30. A lot of times, if you do race in real life, most likely you can't pedal through a turn at 30 miles an hour. So what RGT will do is slow, based on predetermined physics, slow the avatars down through the turns. Hang on a second. Anna Ronkanen with a big look off the front. Looks like Shalal's going to bring her back. That's a good effort. Got a handful of seconds there before being brought back. Looks like Krom, Shalal, and Schumann are all on the same team here. It does look like this team is trying to keep the group together. Maybe they're trying to plan for a field sprint. I say that as Shalal attacks, so shows what I know. Big attack from Shalal, 9 to 10 watts per kilogram, 10 seconds going now. Getting a good gap. Ronkanen's trying to get up to her. Probably worried about bringing the whole field with her, though. Looks like we got to look off the front by Bowen and Hodges and Berube here. Big effort by Brian. Miller with Miller with a look off the front now after Shalal getting brought back. Chris Naven now countering in the men's race over Brian Hodges and Bowen as they were caught. Bowen trying to react. Bowen and Hodges are brought back into the fold. Naven's still off the front. I don't know if this is sustainable, though. It's a pretty big effort. Looks like Bowen's going to bring Naven back, bring the field with him. Wooter now on the front. Ned Bowen just tucking into the group there for team draft, getting a little recovery in before he'll try to make another move. As they reset here, we'll talk physics again for a second. Wooter going off the front with a little look. So if you notice the power number up in the top left, that's the power the rider is putting out to his avatar. The power, along with his inputted weight, which we verify, is calculated out to a speed for a given course based off gradient and course road construction, whether it's pavement or dirt. And the riders, as they go into these turns at speed, what you'll see is the avatars will slow down through the turns based off a predetermined time, speed that can be safe through the turn. House are going off the front here. Let's see if we get a look. This course is somewhat open. There's a couple tight turns in it. What'll happen is when the riders are getting into a situation where they're going to collide with another rider, or going too fast in a turn, that power number will turn red. As you can see in the women's race there, that number's turning red. That is, they're running into the rider in front of them, or they're going too fast in a turn. If that number is red, they are just putting out power that's going, it's wasted effort. It's not being translated into speed as their rider is hitting a virtual brake. This also indicates to them if they're going, running into the back of the rider with that red number, they're not getting, they're wasting that energy, but they're also getting out of the draft. Yeah, a nice selection of 5 here in the women's race. Kimberly Miller, notice her power numbers again in the red there. She's trying to come around through that draft. You can tell when a rider's in the draft by the little graphic underneath the power number when it's not on this line graph. You'll see Shalou get into the draft of Schumann here in a second. Gabriella doing a great job here. Yeah, there it is, saving 10, 12, 15 watts, sitting on a rider's wheel. In my experience, what I've found with these races is, again, it's very much like real life, where it's no holds barred, hang on for dear life, or try to stay near the front as long as you can for at least the first 10 to 20 minutes. Let the race settle out a little. Shalou now going off the front again, giving it a look. 6 watts per kilo. Schumann and Ronkanen trying to chase, gapped off Miller and Crom. Schumann and Ronkanen just trying to close that gap. Oliver Dowd going off the front now. Hodges trying to chase. Cooper over the top. Cooper getting the gap, getting up to Dowd. Let's see if he goes over the top of Dowd and keeps it going. This is dangerous. Cooper and Dowd are both super strong riders. Cooper won the opening crit for the Echelon Racing League in Season 1. Cooper takes the front, gives Dowd a little recovery. Hodges leading the field, trying to bring it back. Cooper getting caught in some lap traffic there. Again, collision detection, just like in real life. You can't just ride through riders. Miller taking the counter as Cooper and Dowd are caught. Gives a little wave to the crowd, putting on a show. Rob Miller, a well-known name in the RGT community. He's going to sit back and get a little recovery while we reset here. Hendricks giving it a look off the front with a big move, 10 watts per kilogram. This course, the speeds are so high, it's really hard to stay solo on a course like this, especially with, 30 laps of racing left, 32 laps of racing left. Hendricks put in a big dig. Again, staying solo is going to be hard to do. If he can get one or two riders up there with him, though, they've got a good chance of staying away. It does look like the field's just going to slowly bring him back, let him sit out there and roast for a few minutes. Miller does look like he's trying to come across. Miller catches Hendricks and goes over the top, not waiting for him at all. Miller is caught by the field in another reset. Shalal really putting it down, 6 watts per kilogram. That gap's at 50 meters to a group of 2 of Ronkanen and Schumann. Crom and Miller not too far behind second and third. Got 35 laps left over here on the women's side. Looks like the field has come back together. Again, all chasing Shalal. Picking up a little lap traffic there. Shalal about 10 kilometers in, so she's got about 25% of the race down. About 30 laps left. In the men's race, we've got, looks like Hats off the front. Dowd kind of just sitting there on the front, not really chasing. Hats putting in a big dig here. Handful of seconds. Oh, look at these team tactics. Thyme sitting on the front, slowing the group down. Not wanting to chase his teammate down. Hats almost out of sight here. Out of sight, out of mind is the rule in bike racing. Hats picking up a, believe that's a lap rider. Hammond just hanging with him. It does look like the group of group of 5 are bringing back Shalal slowly. Her gap's gone from 50 meters to 35 meters. Hat's gap has gone out to 115 meters, really putting it down now. Shalal about to get caught. And she is caught. So the women's field here will reset now. Hat's gap still going out, 130 meters now. Wooter on the front. Again, this field not really chasing, just kind of sitting in. Letting him sit out there and roast. This could be dangerous. He's slowly getting out of sight now. Seibel trying to give it a look off the front to chase. Wooter now giving it a look. Dowd going. Dowd with a big move going. Bringing that gap down slowly. They brought it back 10 meters. Dowd, as you can see, the power goes red. He coasts through the turn and then pedals out of it. Dowd with a little gap on the field there. Let's see if he can open it up a little further. Passing some lap traffic. Looks like Jenko is going to get up to him, bring the field with. Hats has his gap established. He's settled in. He's picked up a lapped rider as well. Looks like the women's field has hit that 20-minute mark. They're doing their little reset now. Looks like they've got a group of 5. All of our riders, but 20 minutes into this race, you can see how they're faring on their webcams and their pain caves. Hat's still off the front with a big gap, still going out. The riders all going red, looking like they're starting to get alarmed. Dowd trying to get across. Swart trying to bring him. A little teamwork here. Swart putting in a big move to bring this gap down. I think the field's gotten a little tired of Hats being up off the front solo and letting that gap go out. They've gone single file here as they start to bring that gap down. Little selection being made here. Big split in the men's field. About 10 riders getting a gap on the remainder of the field. Looks like Seibel's going to seal that up, though. Seibel trying to get a little recovery in the field here. They are single file, though. Got to look for those gaps opening up again. Hatz's gap has come down about 20% from what it was in just one lap. He's got 25 kilometers to go. It's about 23 laps. He's putting in a big effort trying to get that gap up again. This field's going to have to get organized a bit better to bring that chase up and bring that gap down. It's a big ask for Hatz to stay out this long and, you know, 20 more minutes, 25 more minutes. But if this field doesn't get organized, he's going to stay clear. Shalau off the front again in the women's race with Delbert, Schumann, Ronklin sitting in 3rd and 4th, Miller in 5th. Looks like Schumann and Ronklin working well together, trying to bring that gap back and keep Miller and Constantine away. Does look like Miller's going to come back together with them. Miller putting in a big effort to close this gap down to 3rd and 4th. Amy Young from Project Echelon just getting a tow from Miller. Crom getting gapped off just a hair from 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Or sorry, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Schumann going over the top, going to try to bridge, looks like. Ronkanen going to shut that down. Looks like Hat's gap is just blown up. 200 meters now. Hat's rolling a steady 300 to 400 watts. Just a monster effort here. Wooter and Brian Hodges are trying to get away. A little bridge effort there. Looks like it's going to get shut down and brought back together by the field. Wooter to the front. Again, with a race like a community combine, you don't have a lot of big organized teams like you would in the professional series. So once a rider is clear, it's hard to get that organization to the front to bring that gap back down. A bunch of riders on different teams don't want to burn their own matches to help a competitor. So you have a stalemate situation where everyone just kind of looks at each other to see who's going to take up the chase. looks like what we have going on right now, especially with hats out of sight, out of mind. Everyone's looking at each other and racing for second now. In the women's race, everyone back together, it looks like, except for one rider solo off the front. All the riders about halfway through the race now. Really giving it an effort here on the webcams. One rider solo in each race. With their gaps going out, Hat's really just ripping it here. Half the race to go. He's got about a quarter lap on the field. Hodges trying to give it a big look off the front. A lot of red numbers popping up. Wooter and Cooper not letting him stay away. We call this negative racing, where they want to chase down the chase but not do the work to bring the lead guy back. Hodges gets caught by the field and then everyone sits up. Chris Navin going off the front for a look now. Seibel trying to chase. And the field immediately responds. Navin doing it right though, really putting in a monster effort here. Staying in the red for 30 seconds there. Brian Hodges is not letting him go easy though. Does look like the field's going to bring Navin back. On a course like this, the raw power really translates more effectively than power to weight. If you see Chris Navin's numbers, his power to weight being, when he's off the front, being higher than Hat's, but his power being about the same. And that's why Hat's gap has not come down and is actually going out. So Chris Navin is caught by the field. Everyone sits up and resets now. Looks like Shalal is trying to chase first and second. Rolling solo in no man's land. Got 2 riders not terribly far behind her. Oh, sorry. Shalal was caught by second, or has caught second place. Delbert's still solo off the front. Schumann, Ronkanen, and Krom chasing. Schumann and Ronkanen together. Krom not too far back. Looks like Krom's rolling with a group of lapped riders there. Again, just hitting some lap traffic. Miller rolling in 8th with Young, lap down, sitting on her wheel. Great effort by all these riders. The women's field's now halfway done. Coomer rolling a big effort here. Getting lapped by first and second and third. I believe that Schumer in second attacking, trying to get up to first. Hat's Gap still going out in the men's race. Looks like Jenko with a little dig, trying to get off the front. A little tiny gap to the field there, but that's probably going to get sealed up. Phenomenal effort here by Hats to stay solo for this long. 16 kilometers to go. All the riders still really putting the power down. Really starting to show the effort on their faces in the pain caves. Shalal doing a great effort here in third. Sitting just off the wheel a second. Schumann and Ronkanen not terribly far back. Looks like Krom has a good shot at catching 4th and 5th, putting in a big effort there with that group of lapped riders. Ronkin and Schumann doing a great effort here, trying to bring that gap down. Looks like Crom has caught them as well. Schumann in the women's race catching, or with the lapped riders. Looks like they're going single file, trying to get away from them. Hats in the men's race. Gap coming down just a little bit. 14K to go in the men's race. Wooter looking off the front, being joined by Dowd and Janko. Men's field single file as they try to bring that little group of three back. Cooper joins them. Brian Hodges about to join. Thyme trying to get across with Chris Navin just behind him. This is put up or shut up time in the men's field. Looks like that group's got a good gap, and looks like there's a little hesitation. Looks like it might come back together though. Just as it does, looks like someone attacks off the front of that group. They go single file again. Looks like that was Wooter Klaus going off the front. Thyme trying to get to that group. Persk, our winner in the hill climb, our first rider to finish in the hill climb, gets up to that group now. Wooter and Janko on the front driving the pace. Looks like it's all going to come back together though. They have brought that gap down another 30 meters. They need to keep it up if they want to have a shot at taking first. Hats has still a quarter lap with just under 13 kilometers to go. Swart putting in a big effort now. Swart with a little gap. Rider single file trying to bridge to him. Janko putting in an effort to get across. Does he just sit on this wheel though or go around? He does. He just sits. They all get brought back. Now Janko tries to... He goes to the front. And we reset. Hats gap now down under 200 meters. Hats, I think, might be fading quite a bit now. If this field keeps it up, they will catch him. Oh, gap going back out now, though. Looks like the field has hesitated too much. In the women's race, we got one rider still solo, followed by a group of two chasing, which is followed by a group of three chasing with a couple lapped riders in there as well. Gabriella Schumann really put in the power down. Gabriella was the first woman to finish in the hill climb event earlier this morning. East Coast time. Crom now driving the pace. Gabriella chasing. Big effort by these riders as they try to bring that gap down to second and third. And Ronkkinen really put in a big effort here as well. Great job by all these riders, really putting it all out there. Again, being a criterium, this is a tactical race. You want to save your matches and only use them when you need to. Wouterklaus going off the front again. That gap to Hats is back down to about 188 meters. 10K to go though. They've really got to put the power down if they want to bring him back. Jenko going to the front. Cooper up there as well. Rockwell with a big effort. Creating a little separation there. Rockwell from Rossio Racing. Wouter going over the top though. See the look at the riders on their faces. They're all really feeling it. $9K to go in this race. Oliver Dowd taking a look out front. Jenko bridging too. Wouterklaus not wanting to let it get away with Miller on his wheel. This is really fragmented. All it takes is one rider to hesitate to really let this gap get established. They have it in them. This is when someone really should counter. Everyone's really on the rivet now. Shalal putting in a big effort. Sitting in third. First and second just off the front. She's kind of in no man's land. Third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, rolling with a lapped rider or two. Oh, and it does look like we have a... Oh, no, my correction. I thought we had a little gap there with a group in the men's race. Our group has dwindled significantly, though. Looks like our front group's down to about 14 riders. At 41 on the start line, 34 remaining in the race. Hats catching Alex Pleger from Rossio Racing. $7.5K to go here in this men's race. Hats gap back out to almost 300 meters now. It looks like the field is content with racing for second. They are not bringing Hats back. As stated in the hill climb, with this being a combine event, we're really looking for data on how these racers race, how they handle the tactics, and the power outputs that they can do in a criterium style race. We have required all the riders to submit verification, that is power source serial numbers, proof of calibration, and weigh-in videos. And with if professional teams are interested in these teams, they can request power files from these riders to just validate their efforts. In the professional races, the top 3 are required to provide a 5 and 20-minute power file within the last 6 months to help validate their numbers off their results. All these riders really giving it their all. Seibel out of the saddle there. Cooper looking relaxed, sitting in the drops there. So we got 6 kilometers to go in the men's race, 9 kilometers in the women's. Again, for those riders that don't get picked up out of these combines on the professional team, and for anyone out there listening, the Community League does kick off 27 November. It is free to anyone to participate in. You just need the basic membership on RGT, which is also free. Top 20 in each of the men's A field and the women's field qualify for the professional races the weekend after. Don't hesitate to jump in and give it a shot. You can find registration on BikeReg, BIKEREG.com. Just search Echelon Racing League. Big thank you again to all the supporters for Season 2, all of our sponsors and partners, ZMS Livestream, streaming all of the best RGT series, Saris, Argon 18, Hyper Ice, USA Cycling, and Paralyzed Veterans of America. It'll be interesting to see who's going to take 4th and 5th and 6th, rounding out, or 4th and 5th, rounding out the top 5 of this women's race. And the men's race is going to come down to a field sprint to round out the podiums for 2nd and 3rd. Hats is going to take it, unless there is a, we call it an E-mechanical, a power dropout, loss of Wi-Fi, the belt breaking on his smart trainer, chain break, you name it. It's not over until it's over. That's why you don't ever give up. Anything can happen. Does look like Hats does have a slight problem. Cadence is reading 0. These files will be audited after the race to validate everything. All riders are required to wear a heart rate monitor for the professional series, as you can see. These riders are wearing heart rate monitors. That helps validate the power and just the effort these riders are doing. Validation is done via eBioPassport, and all race results for the community and pro leagues will be hosted at RGTDB. That's Delta Bravo. RGTDB.com. You can find a host of RGT results and events on that site, as well as data on riders who grant permission to it. The pace has dropped just a little bit here in this men's race. 3.7K to go. They're definitely, well, we might see a late attack here, or they might just be sitting in waiting for the sprint. We'll see what happens. Hats is going to be able to stop and get a cup of coffee before he finishes the race if he wants to. Half a kilometer, about half a lap on the field. Same with first, second, and third in the women's race. Phenomenal effort by these riders. Schlau is just really putting it down. .4 kilometers to go for Hats here. Just about 2 laps. All these riders really putting the effort down. We'll have to work with some on camera angles. All right. Really interesting to see how this men's race plays out, how second and third happen. Hat still solo off the front, about half a kilometer. Dowd putting some effort down. Christoph Dime sitting up there in the front. Just trying to stay alert, make sure he doesn't miss anything. That's really put in a big effort for this last lap and a half. One to go for Hats there. Seibel setting the pace for the field here. We'll stay here with the men's race as we watch up the finish, and then we'll flip over to the women's race to watch the last kilometers of that. Hats coming around with half a lap to go. Just a dominant performance by Christopher Hats here. heart rate is pinged. Just under 100, just at 100 meters to go for Christopher Hatz to take the win in the Community Combine Crit here at the Real Road Canary Wharf. Phenomenal effort staying away for most of the race here. Great job by Hatz. Now let's watch how this field's going to finish up. They got 400 meters to go, 450. Big efforts coming down to line it out. Speed's at 53 kilometers per hour. Janko taking a big look off the front. Winding it up way early. 170 meters to go through the last turn. Can he be caught? 100 meters to go. I don't think he's going to get caught, folks. I think he made a great last minute move there to take second place. Looks like Brian Hodges taking third place there. Wouterklaus fourth and Persk fifth. We'll wait and validate that with the results. Great finish there by the men's field. Over on the women's field, we got 3K to go for Shalau. Just at right around 2K to go for first and second. These riders have been just putting it down for the last 59 minutes. Looks like they're going to finish up at just over an hour. Here we have the men's results. Hatz taking the win, averaging 4.45 watts per kilogram for 57 minutes, 30 seconds, 28 seconds. Janko taking second, Brian Hodges third, Wouterklaus fourth, Thor Persk fifth, Christopher Thyme sixth, John Cooper seventh, Oliver Dowd eighth, Rockwell ninth, and Rob Miller rounding out the top 10. You can really see the difference in when we say tactics and drafting are, do make a difference here at RGT. You can look at the power to weights there, and you can really see who was putting the power down. Seibel down there in 12th, really going off the front quite a bit today. Hauser at 4.7 watts per kilogram in 14th there, really put in the effort in as well. It's one of those where you can really put the power out, but if you don't understand the physics and how to race an RGT race smart, it can bite you at the end. Less than a K to go, less than a lap for Delbert here. And Delbert about to finish up, phenomenal effort. Constantine about to finish up. Then she'll out right behind. We'll have a sprint possibly for 4th and 5th. Great job to all these riders today as they finish up this crit. These races were a little longer than what the standard criteriums will be for the Echelon Racing Series, but that was just to get a baseline number. Aiming to get a 1 hour power there. Pat's kind of blew that metric out the water. So we got 1st, 2nd, and 3rd finishing up. Looks like Ronkanen taking a big dig here. To gap off and go solo for 4th. Good job. 5th gonna finish up just behind, and then we'll have Schumann coming in for 6th. Crom not far behind for 7th. Crom riding there with Miller, who's a lap down, so she'll have another lap to go after this. Crom finishing up. Here you have your top 20 for the men. Great effort by all these riders. Looking forward to seeing them perhaps in the professional series or in the community league. Again, community league is free to everybody. BikeReg.com, search Echelon Racing League. You'll see the registration for the community races. Top 20 in the community race, men's A and the women's get qualification into the pro race the weekend after. Miller with just about 200 meters to go, come in for 9th. Great job. Our top 7 for the women thus far. Hansen at 4.05, finishing just over an hour. Konstantin Bergnom, Julia Shalal, Anna Ronkanen. We'll have to look at Jeffrey Gerlach, Gabriella Schumann, and Lisa Crom. Phenomenal job to these racers. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Looks like Erska Corinth is going to be coming in for 14th. She's got 1.3 kilometers to go. Brad Borders finishing up for 23rd in the men's race. Great job to Brad in that Project Echelon kit, one of our veterans on that team. And here's our results for both. Do have a couple riders still out on course, but we've got your top 20 for the men, top 11 for the women. Great job to all these riders. We're gonna wrap up for the day. We'll have check the social medias for rider announcements, team announcements as we get closer to the kickoff of the professional series, December 4th. The community series again kicks off 27 November. Sign up on bikeredge.com so you can participate in those races. And thanks for tuning in. Thank you to all our partners and sponsors, Argon 18, USA Cycling, Paralyzed Veterans of America, ZMS Livestream, Hyperice, Saris. None of this is possible without you. And RGT. Cannot forget RGT, of course. Thank you, everybody, and we look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks. Take care.